This was sent to CornyDriveThru at gmail.com from Ryan in Auburn, Washington. On the January 21st, 6:05 show, Ricky Steamboat made his debut. J.J. Dillon was pretty prominent on the episode, but leaves the NWA that week for New York. Did Flair and Wyndham know J.J. was leaving, or were they just as floored as the fans were? Then 1 week later, Tony Schiavone left too. Was it known that Tony was leaving, or was that a surprise also?
Oh, God. I don't know. I was not in the office at that point. And a lot of shit was happening that, it happened quickly that we didn't expect or weren't aware was coming. And I'm not sure. And truthfully, do you remember from reading JJ's book, did he cover that? Who knew when he was leaving?
I haven't read that book in years. I forget what he said.
Gosh, I can't answer it. I have the book, but not within reach, and I can't answer that intelligently unless I would, because that's the only story I would trust is JJ's on when people knew he was leaving. But see, that's the thing. It was an awkward position that he was in because he had been Dusty's assistant for the previous, 6-7 years? So, 5. And then Dusty, is removed as booker, and then he's gone. And, JJ could have stayed around as a manager, but his entire fucking stable besides Flair practically was fucking gone at that point. So, and he had an opportunity to, what he thought, go and do well. And he got up there and they cut everybody's money and all that other bullshit later on. But I don't know who knew. And as far as Tony leaving, I'm pretty sure we knew about it ahead of time because I remember us saying bye to him. And I remember saying, boy, Tony, I don't know if you're going to like it up there. And, and then he lasted a year. He wasn't really thrilled with it, but because he was a Southern boy, he didn't want to live up there.
At the time, though, was he upset that he was kind of displaced by Jim Ross coming in?
Well, that's why he left and went and tried it out, in the WWF to see if he could be the lead guy. Because, it was after Tony had been with Crockett since 83, and he'd been the one to go on TBS. And then when JR came in, honestly, there was room for both of them. They had so many TV shows, and I thought they did a good job working together. To me, it would have been if Bobby Heenan had come to Crockett Promotions, I wouldn't have left. I would have just accepted that I'm going to be the fucking second best manager. I wouldn't have gone to the WWF because I've said a million times before, it wasn't my cup of tea then to begin with. But announcing, it's different, and I guess Tony just wanted to see if he could be the guy.
I remember in JJ's book, there was one story that when Dusty was there, he was going to meet with Vince, and Vince had JJ there, and Dusty insisted on JJ leaving the room because he was his former assistant booker. And he told Vince, he's like, look, there's only two geniuses in the wrestling business, you and me. And after Dusty left the meeting, Vince immediately told JJ everything that Dusty had said. But there was heat, I guess, between JJ and Dusty. Was there heat towards the end of Dusty's booking run between the two?
I don't think so. Not that I ever heard about. There was the times where JJ was in the awkward position because he was not only Dusty's assistant booker, but the manager of the Horsemen. And he's told the story, where he did the interview with me on, on the kayfabe commentaries, where he basically said he would have to go to Jimmy Crockett every once in a while and relay the concerns that Flair and the Horsemen had, and say, hey, Jimmy, the problem is not the business we're doing now, but the business we're going to do next year. Now it's so red hot, but, 4 fucking guys standing there for Dusty's elbow and the fucking quadruple slap. If we lose the heat, can we get this thing back? And then Jimmy Crockett would have Dusty come over to the house for dinner. And then he'd suggest to Dusty, well, maybe we ought to get some more heat on the heels. And it would be kind of that thing where, JJ was in the middle of that, but at least he was able to be a conduit of information. But there's no denying that, yes, the business was as hot as it had ever been, but it couldn't possibly stay that hot, and there needed to be more heat kept on the heels as 87 into 88 showed. And eventually they did lose it. And They got it back, but not ever. They didn't really get it back like it was. They got control of it again, but by then the sale was going through.